look a hot mess. Hi. I don't have a script or an outline or anything productive or constructive for my video today. I've been in like this weird like funk. I'm depressed. It's not a funk. I'm trying to use like nice words to describe it. But yeah. I've just been in this like I haven't been enjoying anything, and I haven't been listening to music, haven't been watching anything. Just in absolute despair. So I was like, misery loves company. I'm miserable. I'm sure there's miserable people out there, or people who just sympathize with people who are not having a good time. So I decided to not just sit around and not post, but to take my misery and make it into content, because that's what real content creators do. But I'm gonna do my makeup, get cute, and just kind of talk about what I've been like thinking and going through lately. And I think I kind of have a theme of where I want this to go, but I'm not going to say what it is in case I just go off the rails. I've been having problems with my vision where like parts of my eye just get blurry, and the ring light makes it so much worse. I'm like, I low-key can't really see. I wear glasses, but like my vision isn't bad. It's just like, I don't even know. You know when you're at that level of just upset where you just can't even explain what's wrong? That's where I'm at. I'm gonna just say right now, per color match, if my makeup doesn't come out good today, these will be my final words. I'm not having it. Is it a color match? It might be a little too... I don't care. I gotta bring out my forehead. I really don't care. Did I put some on my nose? I still got so much left in my hand. We're getting close and personal. So the main thing that's been having me upset and like just feeling awful has obviously been the state of the awful world we live in. And I know that, things have always been bad and there's always been problems and blah, 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 blah. I know. But there's something about turning on the news and hearing the most diabolical thing you could ever hear every single day. This is... Hold on. Let me see what it looks like in real life. Okay, real life that looks way better. But in my camera that looks crazy. I look like peanut butter baby. Okay, whatever. But yeah, every time I turn on the news, it's the most diabolical, inhumane piece of legislation trying to get passed, or another like school shooting, or this possible disease that can wipe all of humanity out is on the brink of human to human transfer. And like I just got foundation everywhere. I just turned 23 and I feel like the world is ending. And I don't know if it's because I'm just the biggest pessimist to ever exist. I'm so pessimistic it's a problem. And I'm trying to like check that in myself and be like, okay, are things really that bad? Or are you pessimistic? But then I go online and I see other people, like other Gen Z people and millennials being like, no, like everything is so bad and scary and I hate it here. And I'm like, okay, so it's not just all in my head. I liked it better when it was just all in my head. And I think what is different about everything this time around, because like I've gone through these modes where I'm like, oh, everything is awful and everything is so scary and I hate everything and blah blah blah, like totally like angsty teenager mode. But what makes it different for me this time is that I feel like I don't have, I mean, I do still have ways to like quote unquote cope, but they don't feel the same anymore. Hold on. Because I actually want to make sense and I can't do that while blending this out. Bro. Oh, what I was going to say. If my makeup turns out bad, I'm really going to crash out. What I was going to say is the reason why I feel like this time feels different is that all the things that I would like normally do or turn to as like coping mechanisms are so tainted now. Because it's like, okay, every 2 seconds you're hearing about another Korean celebrity that groomed somebody, touched somebody, killed themselves, starving themselves, something, and it's like, okay, well, I don't want to, it doesn't feel entertaining on so many levels because, like, you're watching people be exploited. And that fact is so very hard. And also, I think I've gotten to the point where, like, I start questioning myself morally. Where I'm like, is it cool for me to just sit back and watch these people work themselves to death all for the sake of, oh, I like their music, I like their content? And I may just be in a funk right now, and then in 2 weeks I'll realize that, like, hey, you know, you're not the one that's, you know, not allowing them to see their families or like eat meals. This contour looks so bad. Whatever. You know what I mean? So I can't put too much blame on myself or anybody else. But it also kind of feels like, well, if we all know what's happening, I low-key forgot what I was saying. But yeah, it feels like how long can you just innocently enjoy it before you feel like you have a hand in it? Before you feel like you gotta take some level of responsibility? You know what I mean? Because it's like, if you know the industry's corrupt or you're feeding it, okay, well then you can't really be the good guy. And when you're having those type of moral dilemmas every day, watching fan cams isn't fun, you know what I mean? Or like even trying to just like doom scroll, it don't hit the same no more, because it's like every 2 seconds I'm like seeing breaking news, or just opening comment sections feel like Russian roulette. It's like y'all just are so loud about your racism and how much you hate women and how much you hate trans people and how much you hate immigrants and how much you just hate. But then got John 3:16 in your bio, and I'm sick. And I'm tired. And I feel like Fandom Spaces maybe would have been more enjoyable for me right now if I wasn't like actively posting and stuff like that. But the fact that I post on YouTube, I post on TikTok, I not only have to read these comment sections as a viewer, I'm having to like read them as the creator as well. And like, y'all are just so aggravating. Every single day I post something, there's somebody crying and bitching and whining in my ear about what I said. You could give the most calm, nonchalant, not that crazy take, or just make a little joke. And here comes people tell me to kill myself, and I'm like, bro. Or people being like, this is bullying, this is unacceptable. I'm like, I just sometimes I mean, like, I still do check myself and be like, am I doing too much? Is this bullying? Is this discriminatory? Is this whatever? But it's like, I don't know. I know I don't have malice intent when I post anything, and I don't really feel like I post anything worth these crazy like crash outs people be having about like people cussing me, like DMing me to complain about the video instead of just commenting underneath the video. Like, it's just also, and even like sometimes it's not directed at me. I'll have to go through my comment section and delete people's replies to other people's comments because y'all are just so mean. It makes no sense. And it makes like there like the escapism is gone. It doesn't work in 2025 for me. Cuz everywhere I look, I see the systemic problems that I think about all the time that I'm trying to escape. Like, I'm seeing the cyberbullying, I'm seeing the homophobia, the misogyny, the racism, and it's just everywhere. Like, there's no safe space. All of the mean girls like K-pop now, so it's like, and I know I'm like late to the K-pop trend. I didn't become a fan until like 2021 or 2020. I can't remember. I feel like I've tried to tell my story of how I became a K-pop fan, and the story changes every 2 seconds because I spent 2020 to like 2023 just completely mentally checked out and also high out of my mind. So I don't really remember, but just to watch it go from like, oh, like in 2020, I feel like was like the turning point for K-pop, and I got on like the last bus. And ever since then, it's just been rapidly downhill. Like, in terms of fan experience. And also, you could say maybe in terms of quality of, like, music and production and all that stuff, too. But it's just, the escapism doesn't feel like much of an escape. It's like, the whole point of, I feel like, fandom spaces was, like, everyone out there is mean and scary. But, like, my fandom, we're having fun. And maybe that was just me being a delusional 12-year-old. But being 23, I'm tired. Being online and talking to other fans is not fun. Half of y'all are, like, either so obsessed with everything that, like, you move like a cult, or the other half of you guys are just so hateful it makes no sense. And I hate it here. And I mean, like, here. I hate it out in the real world. People are like, touch some grass. Bro, that's about to be illegal in 2 weeks. What are you talking about? Gonna have to pay to go outside or something. Like, the whole go outside, get a life, that don't even hit no more. Because it's like, go outside to do what? And see who? And go where? And this is where I think I'm just being maybe a little too pessimistic. Because it's like, dang, girl, like, get some sunlight, go on a walk. Do you have friends, you know? Like, you gotta have something worth living for. But it's like, golly. And I feel like maybe that's why my mental has taken such a hit. Because ever since, like, the age of, like, 10 or 11, I've just been distracting myself. Because deep down inside, I know I hate it here. You know what I mean? Like, genuinely, I cannot stand the fact that I have a consciousness. It aggravates me to no end. But, before I could just easily, you know what, life sucks, but Harry Styles exists, you know what I mean? But now it's like, I hate men. Not all of them, but just like most of them. So when I try to dive into my Delulu land about K-pop idols and whatever, I'm swiftly reminded that they're just like Korean men, and I'm like, oh. Like the fact that I can't just completely disconnect from reality anymore, and it's just getting harder and harder, is making me come to terms with the fact that like I've never wanted to be here, and I still hate being here. And then the conditions, like the living conditions in this country, are just drastically getting worse. So it's not even like, there's not even a way that I could like persuade myself that like, oh no, living is worth it, when like, bro, he's trying to get rid of parks. Y'all know who the he is. He's trying to get rid of Medicare, Medicaid. I'm about to be 26. I'm about to get cut off my parents' insurance in a couple years. I can't afford insurance. Like, that's the type of stuff where I'm just like, no. I'm not working for that. Like, I'm not gonna, like, I can't. We're about to hit a recession. Some economists are saying it'll be like the Great Depression. The Great Depression? Nigga, don't piss me off. Like, and the fact that, like, the job market's also trash. I'm unemployed. Not in school. Because I'm 23. I'm also, lucky me, I was one of the lucky few young, healthy people that ended up getting, like, long-term symptoms from COVID. So now I'm 23, carrying around an inhaler. Asthma at 23? What are we talking about? I haven't used an inhaler since I was like 10, bro. And now I'm toting one in my bag. Like, I can't leave without it. That's crazy. Like, I went from keeping a lighter on me to, I gotta keep my inhaler on me. I gotta keep, Benadryl on me because my allergies be, crazy. I'm just like, I can't, there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere for me to just, like, run off and escape to. Because I'll be listening to music and I'll be like, listen to the things they're talking about, like flexing wealth in music, immediate turn off. Any form of, like, talks of sexual exploitation, whether it be of themselves or other women, turn it off. Like, it's real strict over here for me. Like, I am the friend that's too woke. I'm so sorry. I don't project any of this out into the world, except for obviously right now. But in my head, I be so strict, bro. I don't want to listen to a rapper, or really any music genre. I feel like they're all slowly starting to talk about the same stuff. Like, okay, cool, you drive a better car. We're running out of fossil fuels, though. You know what I mean? Like, I have reached that point of being woke where I can't tolerate it. It all aggravates me. And the part that be, like, getting me is I keep flip-flopping between, I want all of my content to be delusion. You know what I mean? I don't want to have to think about the real world ever. And then I also flip the switch and I'm like, how are y'all just going on about your day? Making get ready with me's. Like the world isn't ending. But then I have to be like, Ashley, you're doing the same thing too. Just posting TikToks about anime men that don't exist. And, like, this is why I kind of keep all these things to myself, because I know they're not really cohesive thoughts. They're not, like, this isn't a productive conversation. But it's just, like, all of it aggravates me. I've reached a point where it's like the escapism isn't soothing. It's pissing me off because it's either I need to be medicated. I need to be lobotomized. Like I can't do it. And sometimes like what gets me is when like when people try to talk about real things when it relates to oh, the thing is whenever people try to have like real discussions about like even like an anime that's so in depth and also like based on ooh on real world events like Attack on Titan, and people try to have those discussions online, and then everyone's like, oh, it's not that deep, or they have the most diabolical take. It's like that, those kind of conversations should be things that I like, because it's like, oh, the thing that you use to entertain yourself and escape, plus real world conversations that don't feel like you're ignoring what's happening in life. But then when you guys actually start talking, and then you say the most hateful, like Hitlerian thing I've ever heard in my entire life, and maybe we shouldn't talk about things. You know what I mean? Maybe we should just stick to the, get rumbled, stay humble. Like, we don't need to have, I don't need to hear your think pieces because it's just so exhausting. I, and this may be where I was naive, where I thought there were more like empathetic. It's not even empathy that you really need per se, but I thought there was more like tolerant, I guess that's the right word, people online. Not saying that online spaces are a utopia, but to see just how much you guys hate the other, whatever that other category may be for you, I'm like, wow. Like, it gets to the point where you can't even understand like the basic themes of a show you watch because you have so much hatred in your heart, your soul, your mind, whatever, that you can't even comprehend the fact that the guy you like so bad was the bad guy. Or you know that he's a bad guy, but you like how bad he is. And I'm like, what is wrong? Because I understand, like, I'm going to keep using Attack on Titan as an example. I understand that the whole show, like, the whole kind of point is that there's supposed to be nuance. There's not really any characters that are 100% good and they did the right thing and they were on the right side and they fought the right fight. That's the point. Like, you're supposed to leave the show, like, thinking really. It's like a moral dilemma. Like, you're supposed to leave the show, like, thinking. And the amount of people that are like, oh, I just hate Gabby. I'm like, I mean, you can hate her and also understand her character. I get that. But, like, most of you guys don't. Or even with, like, hold on, I can't do both of these at the same. I'm having a bad makeup day, and I can feel it. I'm not sure if this is what I was originally gonna say or not, but someone even recently tried to start a conversation about how like BTS used to have music that kind of meant something on a grander scale outside of like themselves and talking about themselves, where they would they would talk about like the effects of capitalism in Korea with songs like Spinebreaker, right? And they were saying like, oh, I kind of miss that. And it is kind of interesting that they went from having like especially that young. Like, they were like in their early 20s talking about, you know, the effects of capitalism and like trying to keep up with the Joneses kind of thing. And then they went from that to like sporting all designer brands, and how that is kind of, you either die the hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And the way everybody was tripping, being like, oh, well, they're rich, they can spend their money how they want, they worked hard, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, wow. The points be going right over y'all's head. And the part that gets me about trying to have like a mature conversation, and it doesn't even have to be about anything mature. You could just be, you can make a little skit, you can make a little joke, and y'all will be so angry but wrong. Like, I posted a TikTok talking about how like K-pop fans will cry about how people pick on them for liking K-pop because, you know, it's not as popular. It's considered like the other, like I said, it's the other people's music. And but then at the same time, when the locals, I hate that word, find the music in like a BTS, Twice, Blackpink, whoever song will trend on like TikTok or something, they will be crying in people's comments being like, oh no, they found this song, oh no, guys, the locals. And I'm like, how can you don't like getting picked on for being a K-pop fan, but then you do that? Why did I have people DMing me, cussing me out, being like, you just wanna hate on K-pop fans. People shouldn't pick on you regardless. And I'm like, where did I say that I'm giving a green light to bullying? I'm just saying that the random TikToker that you saw using a trending BTS sound is not your enemy. They are not the girl that bullied you in middle school. That's just a random person doing a trend. The amount of nonsense. And I'm like, I don't even really think that was that much of a hot... It wasn't even really a take because I wasn't even speaking. I was lip syncing to, I don't even know what, but some sound. I'm like, oh, okay. And this is coming from someone who is a K-pop fan. A black one at that. Like, you don't think I realize that, like, oh, bullying people for liking unconventional things is bad? You think I don't know that? It's like, you just can't have fun or do or say anything anywhere. People are saying, like, oh, our freedom of speech is being taken away. Bro, in terms of the public court, freedom of speech has been gone a long time ago. If you don't say something that is like completely nice and like, oh, everybody, let's just hold hands, then people are going to scream at you. Every little thing be like having people ready to tell me to kill myself, and that, oh, this is problematic and that is wrong and this doesn't make... I'm like, bro, leave me alone. I don't even really talk much on my TikTok. It's just me using sounds, and people are still angry at me all the time, and I'm like, bro, this is where I go to like just like I said, escape. That's where I go to just be a little fangirl and pretend like the earth isn't like burning around me. And then I'm met with the same exact problems, probably on a worse scale, because most racist people are not brave enough to be this racist in person. So like, I feel like maybe online is worse than in real life. I don't know. I don't go outside much because, like I said, I'm unemployed and not in school. And everything costs too much to go do. And I'm also sick as hell. That's another reason why, like, I haven't gotten into the whole like chronic illness online community is I've already had anime completely tainted for me because oh my god, you guys are so like a lot of you guys are like Hitler's right hand man. The way you guys talk about animes, you're like, yeah, he should have actually just killed all those women and children, all of them, because they were on the wrong side. I'm like, oh, okay, yikes, but and we already know the K-pop communities cook, but let me figure out that you like the disability and chronically ill community is this fucked up. I'm gonna lose it. So I'm just gonna. Wow, this all looks so bad. I'm just gonna be sick alone. I don't need to follow nobody for real. I'm hoping once this is all done and I put on a wig to cover up half of my face, it'll look better. It looks better in real life than it does on camera, I will say. On camera, this contour looks so harsh. In real life, it looks fine. But it kind of feels like how people say to like artists not to sell their art because once they make art their job, they'll hate it. That's what this kind of feels like. Like once I really became dependent on the escapism is when it just started to feel like real life part 2. And also Pierre, talk about a scammer. Yeah, you can just sell me like stuff from your farm and you know, I can resell it and then not tell anybody it's your products. Why am I thinking about capitalistic greed while I'm playing a 2D pixelated game? It just never ends, bro. And then another thing that sucks is like all the things you do use to distract yourself are behind a paywall. I gotta pay for Crunchyroll. I've been getting into the whole not paying for anime thing for certain animes. Like, I didn't pay to watch My Happy Marriage. But the amount of work you gotta go through. Because them sites be down every 2 seconds for me. I don't know if I just have bad luck. But it's like, I'll be binge watching something last night and then try to watch it tomorrow morning and that site is looking at me stupid. I don't even know if I'm going to post this for real. Because I don't know what I will title it. How I'm going to edit it. I don't even think I had a single cohesive thought so far. I just want to go back to like a crisp 2014. One Direction was still together. Wattpad was on and popping. I had no idea how awful the entertainment industry was or how awful people were. Life is good. Life was good. I don't know how people do it. Because I know there's other people like me who are like freaking out in their head, but then go online and they just act perfectly fine. But I know there's a lot of people that are just kind of like perfectly fine. And to those people, I don't get it. It's like I'm trying to bury my head in the sand, but it's just getting shallower and shallower. To the point where it's like it's not even helping. And I think because I've been the type to just run, like quite literally, I mean, bolt sprint away from my problems. The fact that all the spaces I would go to ignore real life are fading and I'm having to face reality. I'm realizing that like I never really learned how to cope or persevere or push through. My posture's terrible. Like, I never learned how to, like, actually push through anything. Like, I feel like in a lot of ways, like, my mental age is not caught up to my actual age in a way that's very concerning. Like, I can't manage money. It is very hard for me to keep up with, like, payments. I can't hold down a job. Like, I'm just struggling on every single front of being an adult. I can't maintain friendships well. I can't. This sounds like I need a diagnosis, and I probably do. But, like, before I could just kind of turn all of that off and just be like, oh, Tumblr time to read my little stories. I don't even know what I'm gonna do. You know how, like, usually after you're in a slump for so long, the universe just kind of places knowledge on your head and you're like, oh, I need to get my life back together and blah, blah, blah. Get my life back together for what? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's another reason why this time feels so different is, like, before I'd be like, oh, I have no future. I'm doomed. And I would just be, like, being a overreactive 16-year-old. But now it's like, whoa, you might actually have no future. You might be doomed. And everyone around me is like, yeah, no, like, our whole country, like, we're screwed. And I'm like, oh. Okay, for sure. For surely. Love that. Yeah, I don't know. I know I can't stay feeling like this or I won't do anything. But, like, none of the things that I normally do work. So I'm kind of like, I can't run away from everything anymore. Because where am I running to? The same exact problems, just on my phone? If I would have known my 20s would be this hard, bro, I would have stayed like a cool 13. Keep me in 8th grade. I mean, my makeup came out okay in the end. Is it weird that I don't wear mascara? I used to wear it all the time, but I don't like having to take it off. Yeah. Is there anything else I wanted to bitch and moan and complain about? I don't think so. There's plenty more I could complain about. But I feel like this video, I might not even post this for real. Or should I just do I'll let editing Ashley decide. But with all that being said, I'm gonna go make TikToks and pretend like nothing's happening again. So I just went back in a circle. I get on my last nerve. Oh my god, this is pathetic. But whatever. Next video, I'll actually make a proper video. And, like, talk about something important. And have a script. And not sound like I need to be on a hotline instead of on my phone. But yeah. That's it for today. I'm actually kind of liking the makeup. I use... No, as you can, that's so ugly looking. Normally I use her, but I went with her. And I thought I was an orange blush girly for life. But I think I like this, whatever shade that is. That's cute. But yeah. Bye, guys.